people, it's no picnic going to either Bikitan or the other one that's closer. What's that other one? Sorry, my mind is a little, it's early. There's another place that is not any more pleasant than Bikitan. Yeah, I'm tired of this shit too. Let me tell you something. Aggravations for how many fucking years? And I'm going to slap him on the wrist and say, oh, it's okay. We'll let you just go home and let you get blacklisted. He's blacklisted anyway. You know, the minute he fucking pleaded guilty, that's like a conviction in itself. I mean, that's it. The fucking guy's got no fucking brains. He's got no fucking brains. Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, that's the Kalawasan, actually. Yeah, that's the other one. Thank you on that. I know you're dealing with somebody with a very low IQ, and I'm sorry to keep on hearing that word, but I'm going to say it again. By his own demonstration. He does need real prison time. This guy doesn't learn. Here's the funny thing. From what I heard on his last broadcast, this is a guy who still maintains the same fucking attitude. And he wants me to deal with him. He wants me to deal with him. He wants me to give him some leniency. When he's still ragging at me, calling me a motherfucker and every damn thing else. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? I mean, seriously, guys. That dude has got something radically wrong with him. He has no ability to reason. He has no ability to understand. To get what you want, you gotta be nice. You can't be downing me. You can't be giving me instructions of what to do. Insulting me, saying, hey, I'll pay you 25,000 pesos. Or tell you what, you want me to get out of the country? Yeah, just I'll sign a paper. You don't have to sign a paper. The judge is going to do that anyway. He's not going to be able to come back into this country, period. It doesn't take no signing of a paper of him. What he needs to do, because he's the one that got his girlfriend to put this goddamn report on me, he's the one that's got to convince her that his future looks very bleak unless she signs an affidavit dropping the charges, which she may not have to anyway. Because first of all, we haven't heard from them, and we put in some paperwork and new stuff. We did an addendum, a legal addendum. Of course, with a recording pretty much saying it all, that he coerced his fucking girlfriend to get me thrown, to put a case on me, not a case, a complaint, and to get me thrown out of the fucking country. You all heard it. I think I still got the recording on there, don't I? Incentives? Yeah, he has to grab at every straw he can, but his mind doesn't work that way. His mind is not capable of understanding what position he's in. He still harps on that shit. Oh, I called him a bad word. I'm not going to go back into that soliloquy on that again. He doesn't understand the gravity of calling anybody such a name. He doesn't get it. He never will. His time is best served in a fucking prison. I don't care how long. Let him have a taste of fucking prison. That's what I say. That'll wake his ass up, if anything won't. It's bullshit. What incentives is he giving me? Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll just go there and I'll not come back to the country. Now, do I believe he's having a lot of stressful situations with his girlfriend? Yeah, I believe it. Put yourself in her position. She's pretty much forced to put a complaint in on me. He probably gave, if you don't do that, or else, You know how he pushes himself on women. If it wasn't her doing that fucking complaint, I'd actually feel sorry for her to some respect. But I don't now. If she can't be her own woman and speak her own mind, and she has to be forced by him to do something maybe she thought about and thought it wasn't a great idea because it might have repercussions. And it might have repercussions on her. Because if it's deemed that she perjured herself, that she went along with him, doesn't he realize that if he loves his woman to get her involved in this, and he did get her involved in this, what she put in her complaint, I'm not going to read, and I'm not going to grab my paperwork. I'm in my dining room and I'm too tired, and I don't feel like doing that. It was total poppycock. Yeah, she's miserable, having psychological problems, having to see a counselor. I put a video on there, which, this is during that time too. She's so fucked up because of me. I did so many mean things to her. What did I do to her? I don't want to sound like Barry, but please tell me. I'd like to know. Where did I threaten this woman? Where did I call her a whore and a prostitute? I've yet to see one shred of evidence where I did that. Not one shred of fucking evidence. Not one. Not one. He's in a nightmare situation and he's unable to wake up. Yeah. Troll says, I think she's starting to see that he will never come back and he's just used her for food, perhaps. In his mind, he thinks that you're doing this because he gets more. I know, what a sick mind, more pussy than me. Indigent, but he has a truck waiting for him when he gets home. Sell the truck. Yeah, right. He's got some ponies there too, racehorses or something. Always got money when he comes back to the United States. Where's this money? And if he's got money, why isn't he using it now for his defense? Why isn't he using it now for anything that he should be doing to save his sorrowful ass? Full of shit. Yeah, how many times Judge Gabota said, how many times did he make fun of Gilda too? No apologies either on that. Yeah, that kind of plays into the factor. Even more so than what he's called me. Horse sounds, talking about how many kids she has like it's a crime, like she did something terribly wrong. And yes, the truth is he did try to make contact with her children a number of years ago to tell them that the guy that your mother is with is a child predator. Did all this bullshit about me contacting his family never happened, folks. I think you could believe me on that. That never happened. That never happened. I didn't have the contact information from them. I never contacted anyone in his family, that lying piece of shit. And he thinks I'm going to negotiate with him after all the crap he said about me, trying to make me look like some really fucking asshole on here, making me sound like I'm capable of doing the things that he does. I've got a conscience unlike him. There's not one iota of truth he's ever said about me, because he's incapable of telling the truth. Troll says he can't pay you or he can't travel the world when he gets home. I don't have any mercy on him at all. Now, I don't know what the final tit for tat between the two lawyers. I know that I had an integral part on what I wanted to happen. And I got to see if my lawyer in any form or way has, taken a slightly different direction or anything on this, but it's up to me. And he has to run disinformation by me. And I agree or I don't agree. It doesn't come to very much. His girlfriend has to drop that fucking case. But then he's not going to have that sword over my head if the immigration decides on its own that her complaint has no merit. Then he's not going to have that bargaining chip at all. That could very well happen. And besides, even if the fucking deportation, we're just going to stick to this, I still got 2 levels beyond that to pursue in regards to a deportation complaint. But he don't get that. Yeah, he said you called his mom and gave your name. Right, who would do that? The man is sick. He's beyond fucking sick, and he has negotiate with what? What's it to negotiate with him? The guy's got some serious fucking problems, man. At that time he served in there, man, he's going out of his monkey ass mind. I've been hearing it. It's been very progressive. He doesn't understand or hear what he's saying. Oh, he's giving me incentives. Yeah, I'll give you 25K. Give me 25K American. I might be a little lenient on you, but it's not about the money. I don't give a fuck if I get a dime out of this or not in regards to my lawyer's fees. I knew I'd have to pay the fees. I had to. I don't give a shit about the money at all if I'm not able to get something back. That's actually up to the judge. The judge can say, yes, X amount of money for legal fees, pain and suffering type of thing. And I'm going to be lenient with that fucking monkey? I'm going to be lenient with that fucking monkey? Bullshit. This guy deserves everything that could possibly come his way. I already told my lawyer we're not being lenient on him. If he wants a little bit of reprieve of some sort, like less prison time or something, that has to do me and the judge, because I could make a suggestion or through my counsel, both. Does he really love his girlfriend? Does he really want to have a life with her? Does he really want the possibility of seeing her again? I have something to do with that. There's no bargaining chips other than him getting his girlfriend to drop her complaint, which is a totally bogus and frivolous complaint against me. None of the material she provided proves anything that she said in there. There's that one lovely video, and I still have it. Is it still on there? And this, yes, is during the time of all this going on, when she supposedly went to a psychiatrist or something. Well, she probably needs one to go with him anyway. That's an understatement. She's not thinking clearly. However, she's out. How many times she's out and about with her friends having fun? Does she look like a depressed and oppressed and psychologically disturbed person that's in fear of somebody she never met? There's that one scene she's in, I keep on saying, it's that red trellis of some sort, and she's is the music. It's like this music where life is wonderful and carefree. That's the kind of music it was. And she's over there walking down underneath this painted red trellis, and she's spinning around and she's dancing and like life is fucking wonderful. In fact, I think that was the title, Life is Great. and she's stressed from me She's afraid of me. I'm going to do something to her or family. Get fucking real. Never even met the woman. I have no intent of doing any harm to her. Never would. All bullshit to get her boyfriend out. She's over there dancing. Does she look like a woman in turmoil to you? Oh, yeah, thank you. It's called Having the Time of Her Life. Well, you remembered that one. The time of her life. And she motherfucking puts in that fucking complaint saying she's all psychologically disturbed for me, that I did something horrible to her and her family. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Nobody's buying into that. My lawyer's got to copy that, which I think he submitted, I think, with that addendum situation. Yeah, she's hurting. She's suffering. She's suffering. No, she was coerced by her boyfriend. She was. So I'm going to turn this washer on at 5:30 in the morning, whatever. Oh yeah, she's suffering. She's suffering. She's going to the malls with her friends. Oh yeah, she's dancing in the park. Yeah, I can see how she. And 1 day for each count. That's my suggestion. 6 months and 1 day, and that's being lenient. Or just leave it up to the judge and let him give you 6 or 7 years for each fucking count. How would you like that? You ain't got no bargaining chip. You got absolutely no bargaining chips with me. Why the hell should I not put you in turmoil after your girlfriend is trying to, which you have everything to do with, is trying to separate me from my loved ones, from my life in the Philippines, you piece of shit. You think I'm taking that lightly or going to take that lightly? You're kidding yourself. That's been a lot of stress for me too. And it's been a lot of stress for poor Gilda. She don't deserve that. Suffering from elder abuse, PTSD, it's awful. It's been a lot of stress on me this whole fucking day. I'm not going to lie about you. It's been a lot of fucking stress. You think I want to let him get off easy? Well, he didn't understand, although he pleaded guilty, as far as the court is concerned, that's really a conviction. But, the other thing is, on the other side, I don't have to accept his plea of guilty. He is not in a position. I'm in the driver's seat. But then he's saying, well, wait, what about my girlfriend? You're not totally in the driver's seat because I got my girlfriend to put a complaint on you to immigration to get your ass deported out of the country, his own words. What about that? And I'm going to go easy on him? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm going to go easy on him? He's negotiating in bad faith. Stick it to him. I'm going to stick it to him as much as I possibly could, but that's up to the judge and in my representation too. Now, they might not have met today. They were negotiating a meeting time probably today. If they didn't actually meet yesterday, they were supposed to meet yesterday to figure out a time. I didn't hear back from them, so obviously it's not that like they write to me right away. His associate writes to me pretty quickly. So I've got actually two attorneys on this case, him and his associate. His partner, actually, law partner. He's a good guy. And I'm supposed to just say, poor guy. You served almost 20 months in detention. Well, let me tell you, buddy, if I could help it, you're getting prison time. And it's not going to be no fucking Hilton, which basically I feel you have right now, comparatively to any one of these other institutions, is the fucking Hilton. Judge, now we got the other judge, Judge Beach. He needs to be in prison. Maz9 says, yet the moron continues with how he's not going to ask his girlfriend to drop the complaint. He'd rather face the very real possibility of spending years in prison. That's what I mean, exactly. Judge Kubota concurs with Judge Beach. You guys are funny. You actually are. You're actually funny. Got two judges here. The Judge Kubota one has always been a good one. That was the judge.
Good morning, Oliver.
Good morning. You've been up early though.
I went to church.
Oh, you went to church?
Yeah.
What time?
30.
Why do they have church at 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, it's a tradition here.
Huh?
It's a tradition here.
It's a tradition here?
Yeah.
Why do they make it a more convenient time? 3 in the morning, people want to sleep.
Yeah.
That's incredible. 3 in the morning? Is it like they're so overcrowded that they got to put extra hours on in the church?
Yeah. There's many people there.
My goodness. Now, see, that's another cultural difference. I never see that in America. That's another cultural difference out here. 3 o'clock in the morning to go to church. You're not even awake. Was everybody with their heads down snoring in there or
No,
what?
people was awake.
Yeah, they were kind of like, but they felt an obligation to God. Yeah. They're snoring away. They feel I have to do this. Save face. I got to show my community that I'm a churchgoer. And they're half asleep and they're over there with their heads down, nodding out, snoring. But I got to do it. I got to do it for the big guy in the sky. I got to do it. You know where church is, my friend? Okay, church is at home. Church begins at home. You don't have to go into a structure. We got a saint here. You might find a cross. You know, your own body is your own church, and your own mind is your own church. You could worship right here in your bedroom. You don't have to go to a structure to have your beliefs. Yeah, well, anyway, this is, different culture all the way around. There's Jerry, late as usual. It's amazing. It really is. 3 o'clock in the morning to go to church. Yowzer. That's called dedication. That's faith, boy. But anyway, besides their church traditions out here, it's not a bad place, really. I respect everybody's beliefs. Doesn't have to be my own. I'm just not into organized religion, that's all. They make such a big hoopla of it, the uniforms they wear, the priest and the choir, the whole regiment of religion, and the procedures and everything. It's something out of a science fiction movie or something, but oh well, still, nevertheless, to each his own, it's okay. Philippines, Jerry's yelling, Bikitan, Bikitan, Bikitan. There's Bueno Cano. He says he will stop, but he has not been able to stop for a day even. That's true. He's incapable of stopping. He is who he is. He makes it clear. And he does talk about a lot of bad childhood, and he got molested and all that shit as a kid by his father, but you're a grown-ass man now. Get over it. I know it's something that's very deep, and maybe it has affected him in some ways from his attitude. That's why he's like the poster child of it's true. Now, this is psychology. This is psychology. This is true psychology here. That's why he tries to act like the poster child of anti, child predatorship and all that stuff. Well, it could be because his father molested him, like he said to all of us. Which he did. And that has an effect. There's cause and effect. So basically, he's, projecting. In other words, he feels such a guilt from what happened with his father. So he becomes like the poster child, the anti-child abuse representative that he made himself to be. And it's all out of fucking guilt. He got boned up the ass from his old man. He shouldn't happen to nobody. But don't try to become some fucking advocate for child abuse, for anti-child advocate for child abuse, for anti-child abuse and be the poster child. Like he's trying to be the poster child of St. Jude's, or he's trying to make money off St. Jude's. That was a real pip. Remember that one? Jerry says, I don't believe a word that comes out of that guy's mouth. Well, nobody does. Judge Kubota says, no, it's not a get out of jail free card. No, sir. You're dealing with a man whose mind is so messed up that it's hard to comprehend. He doesn't understand his predicament, and he thinks he's going to dictate terms to me. That's my terms. Fuck your terms. You don't got a case against me. I got a case against you. What terms of yours? What puts you in a position of terms other than what you planned? To throw your girlfriend in as a measure of getting me to do what you want me to do. To throw that situation over my head. Well, let me tell you there, Busted Brown, that gives me more incentive to see that you get the brunt of the worst charges against you I could possibly suggest. Amazing how this man thinks. Imagine you have a loving family The guy gets his fucking girlfriend out of revenge to put a complaint to get you thrown out of the country, to call you an undesirable. He's an undesirable in every fucking way. I've done things for the people out here, and people know I have. I'm putting some of her children through college, and I'm also raising two of her children. You want to take that away from Gilda? I'm also supporting her, too. She's got some of her own money, but there's more than financial support. There's moral support. There's emotional support. There's love. And you think I'm going to stand back? To tell you what, that takes a whole lot more precedence than you calling me a fucking child molester. To go that fucking low and use your girlfriend as a tool, which is exactly what you did. No, I don't want to be separated from my girlfriend. She's my life. I'm her life. And her children. You get down that fucking dirty and low to get your girlfriend to use her as one of your fucking tools. English. If you think I'm going to be lenient with your ass, but you know what? I could be lenient to a certain degree. And I'm certainly willing to a certain degree. Because if the judge decides he's going to give you some heavy duty, and heavy duty to me is like at least 2 years for each count. That's pretty heavy duty. He may give more. He may give the standard issue of 6 years, 8 years for each count. Have a say on that. Put that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. Put that in your vape and smoke it. Think about that for a while. I do have a say in this matter. Mazanai says, not just a complaint, but a false and totally bogus complaint that's without merit. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. We've examined her statement up and down, and you know I read that paperwork probably 10 or 11 times. She has absolutely no proof of anything that she fucking made her complaint on. All based on revenge, because she doesn't want to see her precious, well-adjusted boyfriend go to prison and be away from her. Why, she can't find a better man than him? Come on, let's get fucking real about this. Shame on her. My God, seriously. You can't find something better than him. Something's wrong somewhere. I don't know, man. Something's wrong. He's not the kind of guy you want to bring home to mom, you know. It's just not. Excuse me, I'm multitasking at the moment. Sorry. Yeah, I'm cleaning a mop. 5:30, 6 in the morning, whatever. It's amazing, isn't it? Hard to believe that somebody like him actually exists. I'm sure there is, and maybe even worse, but we're getting to experience this firsthand. Mazanine says 20 months continually libeling you warrants the maximum sentence. No remorse, no contrition. That's the way I'm feeling right now. Pardon me. I'm washing out a fucking mop because my both dogs are both in heat. And they leave blood marks in the house. Gross. Hold on, I gotta put the phone down. Imagine both. Anyway, Let's get back to business here. Let me sit down and relax. I got to start my tea up here, too. If you don't mind me multitasking while I talk to you. Where is my favorite cup? Oh, it's in the other room. I'll just wait on the tea. He is no position of any bargaining with me at all. Bueno Cano says he has done nothing to make this situation better. No, he really hasn't. He deserves whatever he gets. Now, I did try to ask my lawyer, I said, well, look, why don't you confer with me first what you're planning to do? Because, it's got to get my stamp of approval or not, so I do have a say in this matter. I came up with the initial stuff, but I want to see where he's going with this. Oh, yeah, his lawyer wants to dismiss the case. Yeah, right. Well, that ain't possible. He already pled guilty, so, well, there's going to be a sentence on him no matter what. He may not like the end result, but I do have a certain say in this matter. He gets that fucking complaint dropped. She signs an affidavit, that's it. And I can make the suggestion to my lawyer to make the suggestion to the judge who makes all the decisions that if there's going to be an imposed sentence on him, I have the position to say, okay, look, that might sound a little extreme. Just let him off with this or that. I can play a position in this. He's given me, there's no incentives for me to be lenient with him at all. Let's get back to the ramifications of putting a complaint on somebody to get him deported. A situation unlike his, where he absolutely fucking deserves to be both deported, jailed, and deported. I actually have a real family out here. I have a real relationship. I have real love. There's no utilitarian shit going on here at all. I'm 70 fucking years old. And you're going to do that kind of shit to me just out of revenge? Out of revenge, you bastard? He's a drowning rat. Stefan says, I like, he said that he will sign a piece of paper saying he'll never come back. I'm sure he's blacklisted already. Yes, he's already blacklisted. That's a ticket that off your checklist, Barry. You're already blacklisted. You're never going to be able to sign what? What do you think? I'm that fucking stupid? You really think I'm that stupid? I don't have a genius IQ level, but I'm sure it's 3 times, 4 times more than yours. I'm not that fucking stupid or gullible or naive. Fuck you is all I say to your terms. You are in no position to dictate terms to me. Stefan says it's sad that Shaw can't see that Barry is just using her like he does every person in his life. Well, he has that effect on women. He has that effect on women. They believe everything he says. Or, it's according to what their situation is. And I'm not going to say a lot about her girlfriend because I don't need any more trouble here. I'll watch every word that I say here. But the fact is, yes, people do question what's the draw to this guy? What's in it for her future? Nothing but trouble. I know that if she tries hard enough, she could find a real gentleman. A real gentleman that's going to treat her right, that's not involved with the law. How could there be a relationship if you can't come back to the Philippines? It's very hard. What is he going to do? And where's he going to get the money to meet up with her in an Asian country? And that's going to get old for her after a while. Sure, to be able to meet up in an Asian country. But it takes money to fly, to go to an Asian country to meet her. That she's an Asian country that she's setting herself up to do. She's already doing that. Why do you think that she was talking about doing some trips with her friends to get some stamps on her passport? They're also making some requirements these days, even for locals to travel to another Asian country. Amazing. Fucking amazing. Well, like you always say, Barry, oh, I know you're listening to this show. And by the way, I wasn't listening to your show last night. I go to bed between 9 and 10 o'clock at night. You do your shows late at night. I'm not up listening to you. I know you're out there. You're the first person that... No, I wasn't the first person. I got up at 12 o'clock to take a fucking leak. Went to see if you had a show on. I listened to about 5 minutes of just kind of rummaging through it. I heard what I needed to hear pretty much at the time, and I went to bed. It wasn't until I got up this morning, I listened to the best part of the show. I still haven't finished it yet. Probably will after this broadcast. Have another laugh. But no, you're not holding the cards in this. Understand that. You are not holding the cards. You are in no position to dictate to me what I should do or what you want. Bueno Cano says, Shaw seems sweet, sweet as a viper. He's just a dream seller and she wants an American dream. If she's a church goer and she has a good conscience, she wouldn't be doing this kind of shit. That's why I say I'm not into this organized religion shit and all that, because a lot of these people that are religious are the biggest fucking hypocrites in the world. They're the biggest fucking hypocrites in the world. They don't practice what they preach. It's supposed to be godly people. Well, she was godly. If she was godly, she wouldn't go along with his antics. She would have a conscience totally separated from his influence. That's what I say on that. But she don't. In the end, it's not going to work out very well for him or her. Please understand something. I don't know what DOJ is going to do or anybody else as a result of her being in collusion with him over all this shit. I have no idea. But that's even a possibility too. Again, he never wanted to involve his girlfriend. Didn't he say that how many times? But alas, he did. And in a big way. If he gave a shit about her, if he gave a fucking flying shit about her and really gave a flying shit about her, he would not have involved her in this shit. Out of his own desperation, he got her involved. And there could be repercussions as a result of that. Very good possibility that there'll be repercussions on that. Let's not forget something here. And I hope she's listening too. She harbored him. That's a crime in itself besides perjury. If I want to get ugly with this shit, I'll get uglier. After all, they're trying to get me thrown out of the fucking country, and I don't take that lightly. Princess Anne is even here. You need to go. I didn't even know you were here. She's coming in here, Princess Anne, just to say that she needs to go. Have a nice day. I don't understand anybody on it. Bueno Cano says, Godly is not visiting a 4x4 cell to get muff dived. Well, I'm not going to say anything to that. Oy vey. Well, Barry, let me tell you what you need to know. You are in no position even with your fucking girlfriend with her fucking complaint, you're in no position. Because put it this way, her complaint, even if it was successful or not, is not going to benefit you or her in any way. Let's get this up front. It's not going to benefit either one of you. Either one of you. Believe me when I tell you that. As the way things will end. You don't think I take it seriously when somebody says they're going to try to get me deported? To take me away? Well, you said to say, well, why are you taking me away from Shaw? Big different story. If I thought there was real love, I'd say poor guy, poor girl. But there's real love in my situation. I'm 70 fucking years old. She is my life. She is my rock. If you think I don't take that seriously, somebody trying to get me deported just to satisfy her boyfriend. Yeah, incentives. Let me tell you. I should be pissed off. If any of you all out there were in my position, you'd really be pissed off. To take me away from my lovely, beautiful girlfriend, my rock, my reason to live. And you think I'm not going to take that seriously? You think it's not going to go beyond where it is right now? Then you're fooling yourselves. I don't even have to be in this country to continue this case. Keep that in mind. She looks, I keep on telling her, I said, I'm not photogenic at all. I look ugly as a motherfucker in every fucking picture. But she always seems to come through looking beautiful. Just the past 2 days, I've been telling her, I said, you know, you really are beautiful. And the picture she takes, it really shows out in the picture. I'm not photogenic at all. Oh, God. Yeah, believe me, I'm realizing my age these days. That ain't no joke. I'm realizing my age. It's catching up with me, that's for damn sure. I look in the mirror and I said, who the fuck is that stranger looking back at me? Who is that person? Who is that masked man? You know, it's part of life, man. I'm not the young stud I used to be, man. That's a fucking fact. But I'm alive still. You think he's going to live to be my age? If not physiologically, not live to my age. His big mouth somewhere, whether it's in prison or otherwise, is going to possibly be his fucking demise because he's one of those dudes that just can't. He's one of those guys that, you know, the guys in prison really hate. You know, they call them weasels. They call them whatever, big mouths and weasels and you know, always running their mouth. That's the kind of guy he is. He wouldn't last very long in prison, I could tell you that. No, sir. He would not last very long in prison. And he better think about that. Like right now, he better think about that. Because he knows he's got it real good in that detention center. He knows. But if he's put into anywhere but that place, he's going to understand. He's going to understand the gravity of what he did. And it ain't going to be no fucking Motel 6 or anything. So I guess what I'm saying is that if he thinks he's got it really good where he is, good access to his girlfriend, bringing in supplies, using his phone, it ain't going to be the situation. If his sorry ass is in a prison cell, it's not going to be like that. He will be in the general population too. He will be in the general population. And he ain't going to like that. Go easy on this motherfucker? Hell no. Not a lot, but I do possess some power in my say on his sentencing. If he gets a prison sentence, he will run. Well, he's quite capable of doing that. He's been running all his fucking life anyway. But understand this, brother. Your girlfriend harbored you. That's on record already. Through the affidavits. DOJ knows this. Department of Justice. Where you find the prosecutor's offices. Keep that in mind. They all know this. They could turn around at any time and say complicity. They could turn around at any time and say that she aided and abetted him on his immigration situation, on his running away from his responsibilities, hiding from immigration. It could turn on her in a bad way. So if you actually love this woman, and I know you don't know what the fucking love is, but if you love this woman or even have some affection for her, you ain't doing her no justice, I'll tell you that right now. You're not doing her any justice whatsoever. I know what love is. You got to show love to get love. And as far as a song, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. You got to show love to get love. You got to earn love. Don't use somebody as a fucking utilitarian tool to get your way. Because if she didn't come around to see you, not many other people do. She's a tool as far as he's concerned. As far as he's concerned, she's a tool. To come over, to have company, to bring him supplies. He's lost without her. He is in no fucking position to dictate to me his terms. Who the fuck is he? His terms. Who's on trial, me or him? Let's get that straight. Who's on trial? Who's on first? What's on second? You want to make an Abbott and Costello situation out of this? You made a fool of yourself, Barry. You're one of the biggest laughs on YouTube. People just cannot comprehend your level of stupidity. I can't. I still can't comprehend it. He's been in there long enough that he's lost his monkey-ass mind. It's pretty obvious from listening to his shows. He doesn't say anything that makes any sense at all. He doesn't understand he's on trial. And he's saying that nobody gets prison time. I don't know what you've been reading, but I know the article he did read. And it does have to do with somebody that wound up with a 40,000 peso fine. That did happen. But we're going to... Oh, and as far as money? No, man. Money really had nothing to do with this shit. But after what I've been through with him, I don't deserve to be compensated for my attorney fees? Oh, he'll say, well, I didn't put this case against me. You did. You paid for that. No, buddy, you pay for that. You pay for the stress. You pay for the aggravation. And it just doesn't aggravate and stress me out. How about my girlfriend, which you never think about, except calling her all these names and basketball team and making whinny sounds. You think I forget that shit? And making fun of the fact that how many children she has? It's none of your business how many children she has. Pretty common out here, actually. If you know anything about the Philippines. She didn't do something wrong by having, more than a couple of kids. It's not a sign, it's not a criminal, it's not a sin. I mean, do I think people should have a whole shitload of kids out here in the Philippines? No, I don't. But that's the decision she made. And it so happens that her kids are so very well adjusted. Going to college, having careers in the makings, and you out of your fucking monkey ass mind. You really are. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? She got some really good kids. They're very well adjusted, unlike you. They're on the right path for success. Because she had a good upbringing. That's why. She had a good upbringing. That's why. It's not my fault that your father boned you up the ass. I think that's a horrible, unfortunate situation that you were in. I could feel for you for that. Absolutely. I'm not heartless. I could definitely feel for you for that. But yet, all your life to straighten your act out, I'm not saying to forget what happened to you, because I think that's what makes you the way you are, actually, because you had a horrible incident in your life. And it happened to be a sexual incident. This is all coming from you, just to straighten this out. All come from you. This is not something I'm making up. It all came from you. Your words. Okay? Just to get that straight, legally and every other way. It all came from you. Sure, that was a terrible thing to happen to anybody. But don't go around and tell people that I'm doing the same thing that your father did to you. I don't deserve that. Nobody does. I don't deserve that bullshit. How dare you, motherfucker, label me of something like that? Do you understand the ramifications of this, or even try? Over years, people listen to your show. Let me tell you how this works. Over the years, people listen to your show. And there's people that don't know me from jack fucking shit. And they hear you saying this crap. And some people would actually believe it. Well, because they really don't know any better. They're just hearing it from you. They're saying, what a bad guy this is. He goes around molesting children. If I was one of these people, I'd be probably thinking the same way too. This guy sounds like bad news. I think the same goddamn people, influencing people. Any better are going to believe shit like that here, not knowing the real situation, of course. And you think I want to be easy on you? Do you really think that? To be easy on you? For what? Oh, what you're going through, being in your cell for almost 20 months. Well, how about what me and Gilda have been through? I don't really talk about that a lot. But we've been through our own personal hell with this shit too. Think I wanted to go spend money also on a fucking lawyer when we could put that money to a better use? There was no question about it. There was no question of what we had to do. Zero. You got away with too much shit in your life, Barry. And you dealt with the wrong guy. You dealt with the wrong guy. Me. How's that been working out for you so far? Let's see. Read my... He's trying to turn the tables on you. Reverse psychology, I guess. Judge Kubota says he's got nothing. Bueno Cano says, if it's true, it's very, very sad, but not an excuse to continually threaten someone. If what's true? I could show a certain amount of leniency toward him in regards to his sentencing. I do have some influence on that. I wouldn't call it power, but I have some influence on that. According to what he wants. Well, he says, no, my girlfriend's never going to drop her charges on there. Well, understand something. You got her involved. I'm sure she's stressed out to the max, because why wouldn't she be? Because she could be implicated in this whole fucking thing too. Oh, that doesn't make me the bad guy. I didn't do it. I didn't tell her to put no complaint on me. Did I tell her to do that? To put a gun to her head and say, hey, no, her boyfriend did that. He influenced her and said, you got to do this for me. He ain't going to get away with this because I know my outcome ain't going to be very good. We can't let him get away with this. We can't let him get away with this. That's exactly what happened. And she gave in. Why? Fuck if I know. Fuck if I know. Apparently he's influential. Surely she could find a man of good character. There's a lot of men out there. And she chooses him. Well, go figure that one. Got me on that, folks. But like I said, everybody has their own personal choice. It's really not my job to just be a matchmaker and say, hey, you know, there's a whole slew of men out there that might want to date you, might have an actual job, that are not sucking your money all the time. Surely she could do a lot better than him. Surely. Surely. But he involved her. That's what he did. He involved her. That it could be repercussions for her. I would think there very well could be. But I guarantee if I got deported from this, there will be repercussions on her. Try perjury. Try aiding and abetting and harboring. Did you forget about those? I'll go gung-ho on that shit. If it meant me being separated from somebody that I love and loves me, you think I'm not capable? You already know I am. Where are you now? And you're also on a court trial. Do you doubt my ability? Don't doubt it. Because if that happened, and if she didn't fucking sign any paperwork saying, hi, I made a mistake, I'm going to retract it, I'm going to go gung-ho. That's it. I'm going gung-ho. Both of them. Both of them. How could I not take this seriously? A bogus complaint against me because her boyfriend forced her to do that. I don't know, to feel sorry for her, to listen to him and be so influenced by him. I don't know how to feel on that one. But she went along with it. She's just as guilty as he is. She's just as guilty as he is by allowing something to happen like that. Anyway, that's my morning broadcast here. Enjoy it while I'm doing it. We'll know soon enough on the terms that the lawyers have spoken about. And if it's not within my, and I want to underline the words, my approval, then it's all off. Let the judge make his own decision. And he could wind up saying he gets 60 years for each count. That's 30 years in jail. It's quite possible. It's quite possible. Let me tell you something. Even 1 year in one of these prisons might as well be eternity. I'm not letting him get off this thing lightly, especially after that. The worst thing he could have done was to get his girlfriend involved in this. That was the worst thing he could have done. I could have exercised a certain amount of leniency. I certainly could have. And again, I'll say, I do have somewhat of a say in this matter as to sentencing. I mean, it is up to the judge, but my attorney can, and they do that all the time, influence and make suggestions to the court. Ever hear the words, we pray for his charges to be this and that? That's where my attorney and myself comes in on this. Bruno Cano says, is it true that very, very sad, but not an excuse for continually threatening someone? Yeah. He can't stop. He short-circuited is what happened to him. His brain short-circuited a long time ago. He caused trouble from the first time he landed and put his feet on Philippine soil. From the very first fucking time, he ruined somebody's life. And it continued and continued and continued of ruining somebody's life. Everybody's life that he touched, men and women. You got Cliff. He probably fucked over Glenn. He fucked over Prince. The list goes on and on. On and on. You know that Prince could have went to jail for estafa. Did you know that? Of course, Barry's famous saying is, show me some paper that I signed. Always trying to get out of something. Always trying to get out of a situation that he caused. Cliff, mother, and they were all broke, had to pay for that fucking computer. Just like Barry says all the time, show me the proof, show me the proof. Well, I showed you the proof on everything else. But they're like with Cliff. He's just one example, of course, of many, which you're all familiar with. Cliff decided to be a nice guy and said, okay, we'll do a home credit situation, and we're going to get you that computer. Won't you promise to pay? Oh, you may, I'll pay you. My word is my word. Cliff only knew. Prince, rather. And he denied ever getting, you know what he did? And he wound up selling that laptop for money later on. That's what he did. That's what a piece of shit this guy is. What about Danny Gordon? Joey? I know the list goes on. Babes, all of them. Sheila, he fucked everybody over. You heard it from Sheila's mouth that she realized that she was being used like an ATM machine. She said, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. I'm not going to allow this. He was trying to suck money off of her left and right. And Sheila needed to live. She needed to be able to pay off her own expenses she had. I never experienced such a low life in my entire life, and I've been around for a while. And I can make that statement. Never have I ever encountered somebody of his caliber. He's a fucking lowlife is what he is. He's a fucking lowlife. I don't know how the fuck he lives with himself. I really don't. When something affects my girlfriend, then you just pushed it too far. You pushed it way too far. When it affects my relationship with her, not that, she's going to destroy our relationship, him or her, whatever. But to try to get us separated, If I even thought there was real love in his relationship, maybe I'd have a little compassion for him. But I don't buy it, and I never did, and nobody else does either. I happen to have real love in my relationship. And again, she is my rock. She is my rock. She is my life. And if he thinks I'm just going to lay low on this, they're trying to get me fucking deported. I hope that they decide, other than her signing an affidavit, I hope that he will not have a bargaining chip at all. I'm not going to give in, even with the deportation shit over my head. I'm not going to give in to him. Philippines beyond. Barry even owes a dentist, and Manganilla for $20,000 for dental work. Unbelievable, huh? Philippines beyond said Danny had to pay a sorry store $2.5K for Barry's credit. The list just goes on. Jesus Christ, I'm hearing some things I never even knew. Oh, yeah, he's a real attraction for a woman out here. Oh, he's a real attraction. Got to have a man like him. The audacity of this fucking goober. I'll give you $25K. Let me go home. Drop everything. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. In your fucking wildest dreams. Now, I don't know exactly what they're trying to negotiate. See, his lawyer's not in a position to try to get the best for his client. He don't even like his client. He doesn't even contact him. He said at the court hearing on camera that he was a non-compliant client. There you go. Wouldn't listen to him. That guy wants this is over as much as anybody else does. His own lawyer wants to be done with this. That's sad. Danny had to pay $2.5K. Wow. Let's not forget Cliff. Cliff. He spent a whole lot of time around Cliff's place, getting drinks from Cliff and food and whatever. And Cliff was okay for it for a little while, thinking that Barry would pay him back, but he never did. And that's why Cliff ended that relationship with Barry. He was there almost every fucking day. Traditional scene was Barry near the roadside with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth in the smoke trail. Bent over and hunched over. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. What, you're not going to say hello to me? She's a snob. Because the woman didn't want to take to him, she calls them snobs. No, maybe they just got good taste. Do you ever think of that, Barry? Maybe they just got good taste. And they look at you all hunched over with a cigarette out of your mouth and saying rude, crude things to women passing by. You don't understand this culture at all. How long you been out here? You don't understand this culture. You can't be so brash to women. You can't approach Filipinas in that way. They're not used to that. For somebody being in their face that they never met. There was an incident over in Moalboal where this one chick went to have lunch. She had just moved into town for a job. And she went out to have lunch. And the place was like right down from Cliff's place, right down at the corner. So he keeps on bothering her. Hey, why don't you come out for a drink with me? And she refused. He kept on pushing. Why don't you come on, let's go out for a drink. The girl got so goddamn scared that guess what? The proprietor of this business had to personally escort her home. You heard me right. I got to sneeze. Had to escort the poor girl home because he wouldn't leave her alone. Then, of course, the time that he got on that Facebook thing. And old Mario had his girlfriend come on there because they found that he was still had an active on Tinder, an active profile on Tinder. So his chick made believe that she was somebody that had an interest in him. And boy, did he take that bait. Boy, did he take that bait. And he was going out with Sheila at the time, professing love and everything else. He took that bait. He didn't want to take no for an answer. Meet me at J Mall. They were supposed to meet at J Mall. And he kept on contacting her and texting her the whole fucking bit. Of course, she didn't use her own picture and anything like that. Those people, what they did was they set him up. That's what they did. To see how honest he was while he's professing his love for Sheila. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I could go on and go through this guy's fucking dossier of what he's done to people. If you had to get every person he fucked over in one fucking room, people that trusted him and he betrayed the trust, people he's taken money off of, women that will admit of abuse, that would take a hall, not a room. It would take a hall, like in a fucking auditorium. Everything that transpired in 10 years, close to 10 years, they would fill the hall with people, male and female, both. You want to use the word undesirable? Your girlfriend is trying to label me as an undesirable? No, honey. Your boyfriend is undesirable in every possible fucking way. And you made the mistake of having to get involved with him, but that's your error, not mine. That's out of my control. You made your own decisions on that. I have nothing to do with that. If I would have known you personally, I would have told you right away, don't do it. You're going to be sorry that you ever got involved with this guy because he's nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. As it's proving right now. That's usually happens in relationships. Until it becomes too late. They're already in it too deep with him, and then they find out what he's all about. Every woman to him is a walking ATM machine. Every man is a walking ATM machine to him. Hey, buddy. Oh, man, I'm kind of having a hard time. I don't have any money coming into my next Social Security check. Could you slide me by a little bit and I'll pay you. I'll pay you when I get paid. I'll pay you. Never paid anybody. I don't think there's one person he's ever paid money back that he owed money to. Not one person. Not one. DT24, welcome. He will never see Shaw again once he's gone. I believe that too, because he won't need her anymore. She's going to get the brunt of this. I hate to say that. Possibly legally, but certainly emotionally. Because the fact is, if she really has feelings for this guy, and it's not impossible, although we find it quite disturbing, but it's her gig, you know. If she really does, she's the one that's going to get hurt from all this. She's going to take the brunt of all this. She's going to take the brunt for him getting her to put a complaint on me for deportation and the investment of emotion that she has put into him. How do you measure that? She's the one that's going to get hurt. She's the one that's going to get hurt in all this. How fair is that to her? As you can see, I don't hate Shaw. I never met the chick. Nevertheless threatened her or her family, nevertheless called her a whore or a prostitute. I even got her saying it on there that that's what I called her. I got that video. I put it on the other day. Pure lies. Pure fucking lies. I have never called her that. And you people are the biggest listening audience. You've heard everything he's said, because I know you people are pretty adamant about listening to his shows for the bullshit entertainment value of it. Just to hear how many times he could lie in one session. You all heard it. If there's one person out there, come forward right now that could say that I ever called her those fucking words. I don't think there's one person who could come on here and say that. Why? Because it was never said. Period. Was never said. Never. And I'm going to stand back on this shit. You think so? I'm going to stand back and say, yeah, it's okay for him to label me a fucking child predator. It's okay to have his girlfriend lie through her teeth for him to satisfy her boyfriend. Bullshit. Bullshit. She involved herself, and it might be repercussions for her. My lawyer did tell me that there's a distinct possibility for harboring and aiding and abetting him. And if it all turns out, the truth comes out, the fact that she's perjuring herself by making a complaint on me, that's something you better think about, Barry. And it's something that she needs to think about. I don't know who's giving her advice, but she's getting the wrong advice from people thinking that she's not involved in this, and she's very much involved in this. He's going to sign a paper. Yeah. Yeah, I'll sign a paper. I mean, you want to see me out of the country, he says. I'll tell you what, I'll sign a paper. I don't need to sign anything. You're going to be leaving the country no matter what. You're a felon. If you get convicted, you're a felon. And a felon status, you're never going to be able to get into this country again. That's a guarantee. GT24 says she don't have shit. Troll says he don't care if she gets in trouble. She was and is just a meal ticket to him. Kind of seems that way, doesn't it? That's all it is. Well, we'll find out something soon enough. Oh, I love that statement of his. You know, the one where you ain't going to file no second case on me. I'm not going to allow it. He's not going to allow it, like he would have a choice. He's not going to allow it. Was that one cocky motherfucker or what? Even calls my girlfriend a liar. She got to understand she lies. She didn't lie about anything. She answered questions honestly, even in a cross-examination with his lawyer. And he says that she lied. Everybody lies but him. Yeah. Stephen said, Barry ruined her life and dishonored her. He sure did. Larry Valiampo said he's been the cockiest expat ever since he landed in the Philippines. There's no doubt about that. Man, I don't give a shit about his childhood. Well, he should feel comfortable in prison then. His father boned him up the ass. Well, he'll fit in just fine in the prison system. Just bring the lubricant, boy. Well, DT24, which you don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm eating like a granola. I apologize. Well, you don't understand DT24. Is that her family has very limited knowledge of what's going on. They have limited knowledge or no knowledge about his past. Nevertheless, his present. You remember he said, how come the family ain't helping him out? He said that he does not have the family's backing. Well, they must know something. Talk about this family that loves him to death. He admits himself, I don't have his girlfriend's family backing him up. His new moniker is the vagrant. Troll says, in prison, he will save everyone money. He will force Bummer to save for retirement. No, actually, I believe, and you guys can correct me, and please do, if he gets imprisoned, in a real prison, I think his Social Security disability stops, truly stops, not made up. I think it stops. And here's the thing. I don't think his girlfriend's making that much money that she can afford to constantly buy him supplies. Obviously, he's getting his Social Security. We've been down that road before in our discussions on that. He didn't get that fat from a lack of food and supplies, No. I've seen him, okay? I can vouch for that. He has a big old belly. Big old belly. Got one good old Southern boy bellies. The kind of guys that don't work and they sit on their deck drinking fucking hooch. Troll says, what about the son he abandoned? Yeah, exactly. He wants to reconnect and have a beer. Yeah. How come the son does not send him money for bail? He must know something. Larry Oliempo says, I want him to admit he has a daughter. Yeah, her name is Cheyenne, by the way. Cheyenne. Stefan says the best thing for Barry that ever did for his son was to have him adopted. I agree. DT24 says, yeah, he's not getting any support from home. Stefan says, and he won't even admit he has a daughter as well. He's a deadbeat everything. I agree with you on that. Wholly agree with you on that. He's a fine specimen of a man, of a human. Fine specimen. He's listened to these country songs. What a horrible intro. With these good old boys around there singing their song about Sacred Sunday. You get together with the boys and you have breakfast and have a beer or whatever. And it shows the small township church scene, like something, a Gothic thing out of some Gothic painting or something, Small town life where everything is good. The good old boys get together for a beer and they're singing songs. What a fucking dreamer he is. Troll says, LOL, the only guy who gained weight with money, he himself said he spent over $6,000 on food. His credit card must have been maxed out. Troll says, no money. DT24 says, I can almost hear my mama say, yeah. I can almost hear my mama say, he misses those biscuits and gravy and the black-eyed peas and corn grits. He's in a fucking dream world. Turnip greens. No, let me tell you something. No offense to anybody from the South, really. I don't mean it really offensively. I don't relate to the Southern lifestyle. I never did. They lost to the North anyway, but, I don't relate to that lifestyle. I don't even relate to the accents. I don't relate to boot scooting, any of that kind of shit. I just can't relate to the South. Never could. I've passed through some Southern states. I wasn't impressed. I've known people from the South. Wasn't impressed. I don't like the accent. I don't like the demeanor. I don't relate to the lifestyle. And they all think they're tough-ass motherfuckers. Well, the North won. The North won. So much for the Confederacy. Frank, you must have more views than old Clausen. You rock. Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's got a lot to think about. And if he has influence on his girlfriend, now is the time, and not a second later. Hopefully, I hope that the immigration just comes through with this and just dismisses her complaint. This way, he won't have that sword over my head. That's exactly what he's trying to do. That was planned a long time ago, whether Ricky has something to do with this or not. This is what you do, man. Get Shaw to do a case on him. Then you're going to have leverage. Frank's going to have to give in. I don't have to give in to anything. Despite any consequences, I don't have to give in to dog shit. BB old Clausen is a one-trick pony. A miniature one at that. Okay, guys. We got a pretty good amount of viewers here. I'm not the judge. Let's get that clear. But I have influence. I can influence the decision through my attorneys. Plural, attorneys, 2 of them. Attorneys, plural. Then to make these insinuations that I've greased palms to get him where he is. Nobody greased any palms. Ever. I didn't have to. And besides, you'd be stupid as fucking hell to try to bribe. How about when CW gave him 50,000? You all heard the recording. So thank you, CW. You don't know what it's going to do for me. This way, with that money, I can try to bribe the prosecutor to turn this thing around. Did he not say that? Am I lying? Am I lying? Tell me if I'm a liar. Tell me right now if I'm a liar. Did he say that or not? Then he got mad at Ricky and Brevis. Remember that? Because the money they raised, or supposedly Ricky raised. He wasn't on camera with this one, but nevertheless, you could have took that money and you could have bribed somebody and got me out of this situation.
Good morning. Ah. Yeah. Ha. So, there you go. Who's on the up and up? Not him. Talk about bribe on his own fucking channel. I never bribed anybody. Never. And you know why also? Because it has a way of turning on you. You go try to bribe an immigration official or something, or any official, they could turn around and say, hey, this guy tried to bribe me. And they'll get a promotion. They'll get a promotion. They get a promotion because they didn't take the bribe. Or they just take your money and they don't do what they promised to do for you for that bribery money. Oh, tell me that hasn't happened. Oh, sorry about that. Was it a dead zone? Because I could turn on you. That's another reason I would never bribe anybody. Because it could turn on your sorry ass, just like that. I think. Go ahead. Okay, what's another one here? Oh, let me get that last comment here. Oh, that was Brevis. Yeah, okay. Larry Liempo said, when he snatched PA truckers' money to Dimples, he ate ribeye for a month. He sure did. He sure did. Don't worry, folks. This is all going to come to an end soon enough. And actually, there is a schedule. I'm not lying about that. There's a scheduled case in March in case we can't come to an agreement. In other words, this trial will go on. But the difference is that he admitted guilt to the judge. So the judge is not going to be very lenient with him on the outcome of this case. More than likely, he is going to get jail time. But as I said, I have some influence on this matter. I actually do. And I can make the difference between 6 years or 1 year or even 6 months and 1 day for each count. It's quite possible. It's feasible. It's doable. It's doable. If he's going to allow his girlfriend for that complaint on me, trying to ruin my fucking family, a real family life, real love, a real relationship, I'm not going to take very kindly to that, son. And I'm not taking kindly to that at all. You got her involved, motherfucker. Enjoy the ride. Because she's with you now. She ain't going to be with you in the future. If she gets charges put on her by the DOJ for aiding and abetting and the complicity, harboring, and perjuring herself on a fucking statement. Oh, yeah, she's psychologically disturbed because of me. She's got PTSD, my fucking lily white, beautiful ass. While she's dancing under a red trellis. While she's going out with friends, having a gay old time, a wonderful time. Going out for lunches and events. Oh, yeah, sounds like a depressed individual to me. Oh, for sure. Who the fuck is going to buy that fucking story? Who? Stefan says, that's how bad Barry is. He was actually abused as a child, and people want him to go to prison for a long time. There's no sympathy for Barry. I agree. DT24 says she ain't got nothing wrong with her. Well, I wouldn't say she has nothing wrong with her, but, you know, in this situation, the fact that she's even with this goober, something wrong with that picture. I think everybody would agree on that. But for her to come forth to listen to him, and he says, I never coerced her into anything. But you all heard the recording, did you not? Tell me somebody who hasn't heard that. He admitted, and that went right to immigration, to BOI, Board of Inquiries. That was the last document. And Barry keeps on saying, you can't go on sending addendums. No, this was required stuff. There was certain addendums. There was actually a beginning, of course. There's the typical affidavits, counter affidavits, which she answered back to her attorney. Then, of course, there had to be a response to that. She had to respond to that, and he had to respond back to that. That was it. But then it came to this, and basically where a charge sheet was established that he, like an idiot, which is mentioned in his paperwork, my lawyer, given out official documents before they even got to the right sources, meaning my lawyer and myself. That's almost a crime. Right then and there. He had no right posting any of that shit. And he's still talking about Hawaii shit. That's a dead horse. Put that horse down in an appropriate, humane way. It's a dead horse. It has nothing to do with his case. Has absolutely nothing to do with his case. What man sings a song about a man's dick in front of an 8-year-old kid? How many times have you heard that? No one was harmed in the making of that video. No animals were harmed. No people were harmed. It was a song, a special song, the Mushroom Song, which is actually an old folk song about the Muffin Man. Nothing more, nothing less. The word pee-pee was used. Oh my God. In fact, I gotta go pee-pee right now. Wow, that's really inflammatory. And he calls it child grooming. But then admits at the same time, besides calling me a pedophile, he admits and says, no, I don't think Frank is a pedophile. I don't believe that. But he's calling me one. A little late to retract that. He's fucking brain damaged. Speaking of brain damage here. Tomorrow will be his 600th day in jail, and many more, I hope. Expat Excuses says, did you see where Obama apologized to Ricky? Then a couple of live streams later, he tore into Ricky again. That's what he does. If he doesn't get his way, it's his way or the highway. Larry Liempo says, 600 days earned for truly being an undesirable. Anthony says, at brain damage, well, why did you retract that? Larry Leompo says, isn't there a country song called 600 Days in a Hole? Probably is. There's country songs about just about every fucking thing. I'm not into that shit, country music and shit. The only person I'd say who was kind of a country pop person. I am a lineman for the county. Very talented guy. I don't even think Willie Nelson's a good country. All he does is he don't sing, he sings. Well, I'm the man. You know, he just sings. The guy's did he die or something, or is he still alive? He's a living fossil. I don't like country music. I never did. Never liked country music. It's all it is gossip music. And they're talking about them cheating wives, talk about drinking their fucking beers and getting drunk. I came across a bunch of yahoos, but they were nice. They weren't Southerners. This was in Colorado. And my hair was long and had my backpack on, and I was hitchhiking on some country road. And I seen this pickup truck with a bunch of dudes on. I'm thinking, oh shit, is it gonna be like in these movies? They think I'm this hippie, and they were a bunch of yahoos. But it turned out that they were nice guys, and they weren't Southerners. They even invited me over to their house. They were having a little party. I had a beer with them. Scared the shit out of me, though, because you see this all the time. You're alone hitchhiking, and then a bunch of it might seemingly a bunch of yahoos in a truck. God, what an opportunity to fuck with me or hurt me or something. Hey, you fucking hippie. That happens all the time. I got lucky. They were a good group of guys. You invite me over. I don't go with this mentality. I love the countryside. You know, the one thing I don't like about the local yokels in the South and all that is that they all fucking drink and they all get fucking rowdy. They all get into fights, bar fights all the time. And they maintain this fucking attitude, you know? It's something I couldn't live with or around. Always getting into trouble, always getting into fucking fights. Like every day is an episode of fucking Roadhouse. It's that kind of atmosphere in the South. Brain Damage says, does anyone believe his lie about what he says that his father did? I believe it. And the reason I believe it because he's projecting, because I think what happens, and of course I'm not a psychological expert here, but I believe what happens is when that happens to you, your mind wants to reject the idea that it happened to you. You're so pissed off that what happened to you, you're scarred from the incident. So then what happens is you become this big advocate, you know, against people that abuse children and stuff like that, because he admitted that he was abused by his father. I don't make this shit up. That's how I could legally talk about it, because I don't make this shit up. It was already said. It's been established, and he still talks about it. Yeah, I'm sure he wants a little bit of sympathy from that as an excuse as to his behavior. He's a grown-ass man. Sure, everybody would suffer the scars of that. I feel sorry for people who have gone through that with their own parents. That's a horrible thing, even for him. I don't like the guy, but that's really bad that actually happened to him. That's not cool at all. I don't agree with that at all. But don't go through life acting like you're this big fucking advocate for, you know, against childhood rape and all that kind of shit, incest or whatever the fuck is involved. I don't know. It may go a lot deeper than he says. I have no idea, but I know what he said. And it was horrible. And he's projecting is all he's doing. And he's in denial that it ever happened. Although he says it happens, but in his mind, he's thinking, I can't let go of this. I got to go against the world. I got to be a real asshole. It'd be really nice to call somebody else a sexual predator to get that off his chest, to make him feel good about himself. DT says, I think he's telling the truth. Brain Damage says, but he claims he had a bad dude who breaks arms with a expat excuses says, sometimes Barry says he grew up middle class and other times he says he grew up dirt poor. Well, which is it, Barry? Middle class maybe to a bunch of yahoos. I don't know. What is middle class to them? The difference between living in a mobile home with a little stovepipe on it or living in a dilapidated fucking shack. I guess the dilapidated shack would be middle class. Okay, guys. We had a good crowd out there. Again, I got to acknowledge everybody. Expat Excuses, Brain Damage, DT24, Larry Liempo, Anthony, Expat Excuses, I think I said DT24. Troll of Trolls, Stefan, I think we said Larry Liempo. Okay. And who else do we have on here this morning? Philippines and Beyond. Bueno Cano, Judge Kubota. We had another judge on there too. Princess Anne was on there. I don't know why. She made no sense. Anybody, if I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. As I said, I'm not a praying man, but if I was a praying man, I would wish that the judge puts on him the worst expected conviction that you can get. Sure, I've heard of cases. I have, where they got by with a slap on the wrist. That's all he's hoping for, but that's not a guarantee. There's no guarantees in life, except a couple of things you know of. I don't wish death on Frank. He sure as hell does. So if I get deported, you're going to get deported, motherfucker. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? That's when the fun begins. Oh, yeah, I'm going to contact your daughter. Hey, let me tell you something. Despite the fact I don't speak to my daughter and vice versa, my daughter still loves me in her own way. We just have our differences. And she's not going to cavort with a lowlife asshole like him and tell him anything. I'll give her that credit. I'll give her that credit. He's going to look up my daughter. Boy, it keeps on going on and going on. All the negative things he says that puts him in the position that he's in right now. It's nonstop. And even yesterday's fucking video that he did overnight, on one hand, he's trying to demand terms on me. And what is he doing? He's still calling me names and being very negative with me. Somehow he relates to this. I don't understand why. He doesn't understand that maybe being nice to somebody could have better results. Maybe not all the results that they want, but could possibly get them in a little bit better position than they're in. But he doesn't think about that. He's not capable of understanding the concept of that. He doesn't have a clue. So by attacking me constantly, when you're trying to negotiate terms with me and you're dictating terms to me as to what you want, sorry, bro, but you're not in a position to dictate to me any fucking thing. You piece of shit coward. You're not in a position to dictate anything. As I said, for the most part, I'm wearing that driver's hat. Beep, beep, Johnny. Beep, beep. Put your seatbelt on, because you're going to be in for a wild ride. Especially since you got your girlfriend to put that goddamn report on me that I do not take very lightly. Well, you don't have to listen, John, and fuck off anyway, by the way. No, I'm not doing 3-hour live streams. Get the fuck out of here. Why don't you show your girlfriend or wife? Why don't you put your face on camera? I don't even believe you even have a woman. You haven't proved that either. Prove that you're married. You're probably as broke poor as Barry is. What's the Grand Poobah barbecues and you have to go to Walmart? Let's talk about saving money. I don't want to talk about you, Larry. It's not worth it. That's right, I did get off for 2 weeks. I certainly fucking did. And I was going to continue to do that. But because we've reached an apex in this situation, I decided to get on and do a few shows. And present his absurdity. No, he's in no bargaining position with me, but he figures was a Damocles sword over my head. That's his bargaining chip. And that was planned. That Frank is going to have to give in. Because I got my girlfriend. His utilitarian tool to put a fucking complaint on him with immigration. Oh, I got him now, he's saying. I got him now. Maybe you don't. Maybe that ain't going to work out too well for either one of y'all. Ever think about that, Barry? 2 weeks an eternity. My girlfriend, my warrior. Okay, before I get off here, does anybody else want to share anything else? Any thoughts or anything? I'll give it a few more minutes. I'm going to finish my tea. And share your thoughts while you can. Yeah, I did decide to get on after 2 weeks. I most certainly did. And if I could do 2 weeks, I could do forever. I now know that. However, I just kind of felt that we're kind of at that point right now where I felt it kind of almost necessary to come on. Because I was laughing so fucking hard when he was trying to put control on me, trying to. Say, I got you now because you got my girlfriend to do a report on you. That he's making his terms. He's not in a position to make terms with me. The only terms he's got to accept is to get his girlfriend to get rid of that frivolous report and sign an affidavit to it. Then I can negotiate. It don't matter what the lawyers are going to be talking about. I laid down some guidelines. Remember, I pay them. They don't pay me. I laid down some of my own guidelines, which I won't discuss on here. And then they're saying it's all about the money. No, this case has never been about money. But I sure as hell deserve to get back a portion of my lawyer's fees after what I've been through with him. That could have been used for something else. He'll say, well, I didn't force you to put a case on me. No, you didn't force me to put a case on you. But it got to a point that, well, I kind of was forced to do a case. Nobody put a gun to my head and say, put a case on you. I did that on my own accord, but nevertheless, there were expenses involved. If you think you're getting away, listen to his last request. What was it, last night? I'm not going to give him no money. You're not going to get a dime from me. And I'm not going to prison. Oh, you're making those decisions? In other words, your decisions can override the judge's decision. Is that what you're saying? Mars 9 says, come on, stay off, do it at your leisure. Yeah. Christmas is just going to be me and my lady because the 2 kids are going to be going to Cebu. They have to spend some time with their dad. But their family, they're all going to be over here for Gilda's birthday, which is actually January 2nd, but we're going to celebrate it on the 4th. Convenience for the kids to come here, having to do with either school or whatever situation it was. Yeah. So it'll be a nice, quiet Christmas for just me and her, which is, it's okay with me. But they'll all be here in January. January 4th, I'm thinking is the date. And we already ordered a buffet service and all that crap. Yeah, nice and quiet. Yeah, I like that. I don't mind having a family here, but I couldn't have them here permanently, not a bunch of the kids, just the 2 kids we're raising. We're doing very well, by the way. Oh, yeah, and they're getting abused by me too, right? Right, Barry? Is that what you think? Her kids are getting abused by me, you sick bastard. You fucking sick-ass bastard. You should be put in a sanatorium somewhere. Be around a bunch of other fucking crazy people. You could talk all that crazy talk all you want, and you might find somebody to actually listen to you if they're coherent enough to do so. Yeah, that's the way I like it, Mazda 9. Now, we'll make a dinner. Absolutely. We'll make a dinner. But the big event will be her birthday. 5-0. Hawaii 5-0. Guess she's a granny. As people like to say. But then again, that sick way of thought that these perverts that come to this fucking country trying to grab the youngest woman that they can. Who's the pervert? I'm with a mature woman. And the youngest woman I ever had anything to do with in this country in the beginning was 34 or 36 years old, if I remember correctly. She wasn't a bubblegum chewing 16-year-old, 18-year-old. They were either 34 or 36, as I remember. I never went to the cradle. Something I never did. But you got all these sick bastards that are moving into this fucking country. It gives us all a bad name. Because I'm not like that at all. I couldn't live with myself to be with somebody that young. That might sound exciting to some fucking pervert out there. I know, they want to relive their youth and all that. It's not a reality, though. It's not a reality. That's like fucking your own grandchild. And you get off on that shit? What are they? They must be into kiddie porn. That's like fucking your own grandchild. See, a 50-year difference in age. That's sick. That's just fucking sick. I couldn't live with myself. I could not live with myself. To take advantage of somebody that young, who's very gullible, very naive. You make all the promises in the world to them. We'll have babies, we'll have a house, you're going to live a good life. Up until he gets into her panties, then he disappears and impregnates her. Look at that one guy that Paul was talking about. The girl. She's fucking deaf. And she got knocked up by this guy. And he went to live in Cebu somewhere. He's only giving her 2,000 fucking pesos a month. Taking on no responsibility. Now she's faced with a child. Fucking creeps. All right, guys. You've been a swell audience. Barry, there ain't no fucking negotiating with you unless you do certain things. So get that straight. Once and for all. Or you're going to jail, motherfucker. And it's more likely that you will than not. Putting your girlfriend on me with a fucking complaint to get me deported? You think I'm taking that?
All right, can everybody hear me? Judge Frank. Yeah, Frank failed trying to get a young girl, so he ended up with a baseball team. Yeah, he did. Um, wow, that was a long one, guys. 2 hours, over 2 hours. So, what do we got here? We got a guy pissing and moaning because he's got a case against him. Oh, it's really not a case. BI's going to throw his ass out. Okay. I told Barry this morning, Frank would never give up. Frank wants to keep you in limbo. And here you go. 2 hours of Frank saying the same thing over and over. Glad I took the over. Frank was taking notes the last 2 weeks. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. So, guys, there you go. I had enough. I'm going to call it a night. And y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you on the flip side.